Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session on virtual labs. You're watching us live on PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. Well, today's session is specifically meant for our students of grade 7 and the subject we are taking up is science, to be precise, biology. And what are we going to learn today? Well, we're going to learn about the demonstration of simulation to study the mode of reproduction in yeast. Now, what are these yeasts? These organisms, are they really beneficial for us, and can we actually study about them through virtual lab? I mean, I have always seen people performing experiments in real physical laboratories when it comes to biology. You need a microscope, you need a lot of other things. But how can we actually perform simulation through virtual labs is something interesting to look forward to. Well, we will reveal everything to you in a while, but before that, let me tell you, if you have questions related to the topic, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. Our email ID is diksha.training@ciet.nic.in. And on our YouTube handle NCERT Official as well, you can send us your questions, suggestions and your feedback as well. Now, every morning when we bring this session for you, whenever it's time for the series, we always introduce virtual labs to everybody watching us. Well, there are a lot of people out there who already know about this concept, but those who have joined us today for the very first time, let me tell you briefly about virtual labs. So, virtual lab is an online tool that helps you perform simulations at your own pace, time, space and convenience. Basically, the experiments that you can perform in real physical laboratories, you can actually now perform them digitally through virtual lab, and you can practice them as much as you want. Before going to the real laboratory settings, you can actually go prepared because you already know what to expect from the experiment and what kind of precision and accuracy is required while performing the same. Now, these are not replacement of real physical laboratories, these are not replacement of teachers, but yes, it's kind of an add-on that helps you prepare for the examinations well. It helps you prepare for subjects of science, language and many other streams, especially if you're not into regular schooling. There are students who are studying through unconventional mode, through open schooling. If they really want to study science and they want to get the clarity regarding many of the abstract concepts out there, then virtual lab come really handy. Of course, they come really handy, and this is the beauty of virtual labs. But what we can expect from today's session, let us listen from the horse's mouth itself. Yes, so for this session we are joined by an expert and I'm going to introduce you all to her. We have with us Ms. Nidhi Adlakha Tuli. Ma'am is Senior Consultant Academic from CIET NCERT New Delhi. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session.
Namaskar, thank you.
So ma'am, this is yet another interesting, I would say, session on virtual labs where we will be talking about yeast. But I am really surprised, can we actually perform these biology experiments through virtual labs?
Yes, sure. Definitely you can perform all the experiments of virtual labs, whether that is a field experiment or a laboratory experiment. Every experiment can be performed by virtual labs.
Okay, and what are we going to learn about yeast today? I mean, I can see these, diagrams or figure in the backdrop and they look really scary.
Okay, it seems scary to you right now, but when we will study about that, you will feel like that it must not be scary.
Okay.
And why will you feel like that? For that, first of all, I would like to ask you one question before answering your question.
Okay.
What did you have in your breakfast?
In my breakfast?
Yeah.
I had bread and butter.
Okay, so if you had bread and butter, that means you are not scared of yeast at all.
What are you saying? I mean, what's the relation of bread and butter with the yeast?
The yeast actually is utilized for making dough of bread and other things, like all of you must have eaten chole bhature.
Oh, I love them.
So bhaturas are made by the dough which rise because of the yeast.
Oh, you mean to say that fermentation takes place because of yeast?
Yes.
Wow, so I'm not scared of it anymore.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So today we are going to talk about the mode of reproduction in yeast, and as we are talking about that the dough rises, whether of bread or of fine flour. So that rises because the yeast utilizes sugar which is there in the cereal which we have used, and while utilizing sugar, it produces carbon dioxide, and because of which it rises.
All right. So this is what we're going to learn today through our simulation on virtual labs. So I'm sure that there is a lot of theory as well that we want to go through before performing an experiment. So is it all available in virtual lab?
Yes, all the required resources are available in virtual lab, so that you can have the background information, or you can directly jump onto simulation also, or you can directly watch animation, or you can go by the conventional method of first of all reading theory, reading procedure, then watching animation, then going to perform the simulation, and then self-evaluate yourself that how much you have actually understood.
Okay. Now another important question I want to ask you, that actually these virtual labs, they're so useful to us, but are they available free of cost? Can everybody access them? And if yes, then what's the place? Where can we access them?
Okay, so yes, everyone can access them. You just require a smart device and internet.
Right.
And you'll be able to perform virtual labs from anywhere, whenever you want to. And how you can reach virtual labs, that I'll show you on my system.
Well, let's
see. Here you can see I have opened a browser. So on the browser, you just need to type Diksha. And the first one which appears is diksha.gov.in. You can click on that. This is the portal, Diksha portal. When we scroll down, you can see that there are focus areas of Diksha.
Right.
So these are auto scrollable, or we can also scroll them. So I have done that, and we have reached virtual labs. We have to click on virtual labs. As we scroll down, you can see that information related to virtual labs is given, and when we further scroll down, you can see that from class 6th to class 12th, the resources are available for a variety of subjects like mathematics, science, languages, social science. And right now, because we are going to study mode of reproduction in yeast for class 7th, so I'll click on explore of class 7, then English medium. You can see that all the subjects have appeared for which resources are available. I'm clicking on science. So before it takes me to the resources, it asks me the login address, so that those who are working for Diksha, those who are working for the nation, because Diksha is the national platform, so they just want to gather the basic information about you, and that's why you require to log in.
So, and you can log in here just once and you will stay signed up then.
Yes, for the entire day you will stay logged in. So if you are visiting Diksha for the very first time, you have to scroll down. You can see that here we have register here option. You have to click on register here and just give basic information which is asked, and then the email address and password you had written while registering yourself, that you can enter here. So here I'm typing the same.
Right.
So you can see we have reached on the class 7th science lab manual. So this is digital lab manual. Here you can see in this window, you can see the content, and next to this window we have the entire list of experiments. We can scroll down and select the experiment which we want to study. Like today we are going to study about yeast, so I am clicking on that, and then you can see that first of all the experiment PDF is given. So this is the same one which you find in the lab manual, hard copy of the lab manual, which you must have. Then when you click on explanation resources, first of all you have theory. So here you can see that all the background information, like you were asking Harpreet, that do we get the background information? So yes, we are getting the background information, so that you can understand that what is yeast, why we are studying about yeast and its mode of reproduction. So all that information you get, and here diagram is also there. And along with that, very important is learning outcomes. These days we are focusing on learning outcomes based pedagogy. So learning outcomes are also mentioned, so that the children gets to know that what they are going to learn by studying this. So they are not but simply studying only because it is there in the course, but they are going to learn something very important, and that is listed here. So next is procedure. first of all, materials required is written. So whenever you are going to perform any experiment, you must know that what all materials you require for performing that experiment. So that is written here. Then when we scroll down, you can see there is real lab procedure, that when you will go to the actual laboratory, then what all steps you are supposed to take, and then simulator procedure, that we provide simulator in virtual labs which replicate the physical lab and gives the opportunity to perform experiment. So all those steps are also written here. And at the end we can see that observation is given. So whenever we are going to perform any experiment, we should know that what we should observe. So that's why observations are written, so that child gets to know that these things I need to notice and record while performing and observing the experiment and its results. After that, you can see that we have animation. So I'll just skim through it. So you can see that all the steps are given here, so that you get the idea that what you are going to do and what you are going to observe. Then next is resources. So here some additional resources are there, with the help of which these resources were developed by the developing partner or content partner. Now let's go to the simulation. So I'll just make it full screen.
Sure.
And pardon me for the cough.
That's okay.
So here you can see that we have the entire setup, the apparatus, beaker, sugar, yeast, dropper, microscope, spatula, slide, stirrer, everything we have. So although many of the students do not get all these things in their actual physical lab, or many schools do not have physical labs, but here they are getting all the resources, and because they are not going to be consumed, every time we can just reset and everything will appear again, like magic.
Like magic.
So here nothing is getting consumed, and still you are getting the chance to perform experiments infinite times. So as we started with, that yeast consumes sugar, which is there in the dough, or not dough, in the cereal with which we are going to make dough. So here you can see that in the same way we have provided here sugar. So first of all, you can take spatula, or what you can do is, if you are performing it for the very first time and you have not read in the procedure the steps which are required to be performed, then here you can see that there is an icon called help. So you can click on the help icon and it will show what you are supposed to do next. So I have taken yeast in the spatula, and then I have added it in the beaker. Then I have taken the spatula again, and then sugar. We require sugar so that yeast can multiply. As we have added the two things, we can take the stirrer and stir it. So why we are stirring? So that the yeast and sugar that spreads throughout uniformly, and yeast can utilize sugar evenly and can multiply and produce carbon dioxide and alcohol. Here you can see that the timer is going on. So it shows that we need to keep it for some time so that yeast gets the chance to multiply. As we are talking about reproduction, it is multiplying.
And what should be the duration? 1 hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, like here also it was shown 1 hour. Okay. So now because the yeast has multiplied, now we can see. So here I have taken the dropper, just a second. Yes. So we have to release the dropper, then we have to take the dropper and release yeast solution on the microscopic slide. Then we have to keep this cover slip and then put it on the platform and then click and watch. And because whenever you have seen under the microscope, you have to set it properly. So here we have with us coarse adjustment and fine adjustment. So we will, first of all, we should try with coarse adjustment. So when I have tried, you can see that now it is clear and this eye icon has appeared, which gives the information or inference. So before reading the information, I would like to just scroll through the slide. So here you can see that there is slide adjustment. So you can move the slide right, left, up and down. You can do anything. So I am moving it left side, and you can see that the single, as you know that yeast is a single celled organism. But here multiple cells are visible at the same moment.
Right.
So what does it mean? That the yeast has multiplied. It is showing budding. So budding is
Budding
one
is
of the
multiplication?
yeah. I'm just going to explain with the help of the correct view. So like here you can see that this is the parent cell, and the parent cell is producing asexually a bud. So here it is sending the multiplied contents, nuclei, nucleus, cytoplasm, all that it has gone inside the bud, and it stays in the parent cell as well. So as the bud develops, grows on the parent cell, it gets detaches and survives as an individual yeast cell. So here the yeast is reproducing asexually, and when it is doing that, when it got sugar, at that time it consumed it and then it multiplied. So this is how we have performed this entire experiment. Then let's click on I. So yeast grow well in a solution containing sugar kept in warm conditions. So microorganisms require warm conditions to multiply, and this is what is written here. A bulb-like projection develops on the adult yeast cell called the bud, like I have just told. The bud grows in size, detaches from the adult cell and forms a new yeast cell. Sometimes buds may remain attached on the yeast cell and another bud may arise from it, appearing like a chain of buds. So we have seen a chain of buds as well when I was just moving the slide. This method of asexual reproduction by formation of buds is called budding. So I can just scroll again. It will disappear on its own. Let's click on next. So here what we need to do is that we have to put the labels. So let's start from the first one. The first one is daughter yeast cell. We have put that. Then this is nucleus. So let's take nucleus. Then this is vacuole. So let's take vacuole. And then this is cytoplasm. So let's take cytoplasm. So here you are not only performing the experiment, but you are somehow assessing your information as well. So although we have a separate self-assessment tab, but in the simulation also we have got the opportunity to interact with the content and self-evaluate ourselves. So after that we can go to the self-evaluation. I'll take you to the other one. Just a second. So let's go to the self-evaluation. So we have just performed simulation right now.
Yeah.
And here I have already opened self-evaluation. So you can see that the questions are there, multiple choice questions are there. You can select the answer and you will get to know whether you have answered correctly or not.
Okay.
So like the first question is, what structure is formed during asexual reproduction in yeast? So according to you, what should it be? It is a very easy answer, that's why I'm asking you. Zygote, gamete, bud.
It's bud.
Yes, correct. So you can see that the green color appeared. That shows that.
Sorry, I'm interrupting, but what if I answered incorrectly?
So let's attempt it right now.
Okay.
So which process involves the division of two identical daughter cells in yeast? So right now we have not talked about it, but as we have said that all the information is there in all the resources. When you will read theory, you will get the answer of this question as well. So the answer although is mitosis, but as you have said that if we attempt incorrectly, so let's click on gametogenesis, which is incorrect. So you can see that it has shown cross and a red color, and the right answer, as I said, it was mitosis.
Okay.
Next is, what is the primary purpose of sexual reproduction in yeast? Although some other options also appear correct to you, but because they are asking the primary purpose, we need to focus on that only. So the primary purpose is to generate genetic diversity. The next is, which environmental condition is favorable for yeast cell reproduction? So as we have said that it consumes sugar, so the answer should be high sugar concentration. What is the main environmental factor essential for yeast fermentation to occur? So it is actually the similar question. Which common yeast species is used in baking and brewing? We were talking about baking like bread. In brewing also it is used. So the hard drinks which are produced, the alcohols which are produced, in that also yeast is utilized, and the one which is commonly used is the first one, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae.
Oh, it's common for both.
Yes. we also call it as baker's yeast or brewer's yeast.
Oh.
Then what is the process of yeast cell reproduction called? Budding.
Budding.
In which group of microorganisms do yeast cells belong? It's fungi.
Fungi.
Why can yeast undergo both asexual and sexual reproduction? Now this is something different what you have not studied via simulation. So we have seen budding, which is asexual mode of reproduction, but it also reproduces by sexual reproduction. So what's the reason? So there are 4 options: to avoid competition, to adapt to changing environment, to increase mutation rate, to conserve energy. To adapt to changing environment is the right answer. So when the environment is changing, it switches to the sexual reproduction. During yeast budding, which part of the cell undergoes division? It's nucleus and then cytoplasm as well. But first of all, nucleus. Okay, there is a question. In a brewery, a yeast strain known for rapid asexual reproduction through budding is introduced into a new medium with low sugar concentration. So they are saying that the yeast strain which reproduces rapidly is given an environmental condition in which sugar concentration is low. And in the previous questions, we were talking about that
sugar
yeast
concentration is high.
Yes, yeast requires high sugar concentration, but what we are giving low sugar concentration. So what we are doing, the environment is not favorable for asexual reproduction. The yeast growth rate slows down and some cells start producing spores. So spores are produced only when it reproduces sexually. So what is the most likely explanation for this shift in reproductive strategy? That means why, rather than reproducing asexually, it started reproducing sexually. Sorry. So out of these 4 options, because we are short of time, let's directly jump onto the right answer. The environmental stress triggered a switch to sexual reproduction to increase genetic diversity for survival. So here, what was the environmental stress? It was low sugar concentration. That's why it switched to sexual reproduction. And that's it. We have answered 10 correct questions. 10 questions correctly because one we intentionally attempted incorrect, just to show you that how it looks like when we attempt the wrong answer.
And scores don't matter. If you still are not answering questions correctly, you can always go back to theory part.
Yes, so you can go back to all these resources as many times as you wish to, and then you will definitely be able to answer every question correctly. Not only the questions which are here, but all your curiosity questions as well, because they are also very important to answer.
Right. So that is a wonderful simulation to perform virtually, and of course you can test yourself, test your knowledge also. But what if I want to learn more? I want more reference material. Do we have any sources, any information regarding further sources of reference material?
Yes, like I showed under explanation resources, there are resources. So here we have books and websites. Sometimes only NCERT websites are mentioned, sometimes additional websites are also mentioned. So it depends upon what all resources the developers, the content writers utilized for writing the content for these resources.
Right, and primarily because we are aligning with the goals and recommendations of NEP 2020. So this particular simulation or any content available or virtual lab is in alignment with NCERT textbooks.
Yes.
But as you say, there is a lot of content available, but still I want more elements to be incorporated. So do I have any mechanism to share my feedback, what all developers can add or subtract?
Yes, you can give your feedback. So when we click on full screen, here you can see that tap on the stars to rate the content. So you can rate it, and when you rate it, then further it asks you that would you like to tell us more? Then you can attempt whatever you want to mention, and then that's it, I'll submit it.
Right. Now, there's one more question, because when we learn about virtual labs, we mainly focus on the needs and requirements of the students. We try to customize the content as per their requirements, and that's what NEP also says. And because we're catering to inclusivity and equity in education, we want everybody on the same page. But I mentioned in the beginning that virtual labs are not replacement for teachers, but teachers can actually integrate virtual labs in their routine teaching and learning, and this will give them immense benefit as well, because they are in alignment with the teaching learning pedagogy. And as an academician yourself, what advice would you like to give teachers out there that how they can actually incorporate these, and what benefit it's giving to the teachers, that they will be able to make the concepts more clear to the students with the help of virtual labs, and they will make them ready for the real laboratory explorations?
So in your question, you have already partially answered. So yes, it is very much beneficial for teachers. When we listen to the word virtual labs, what comes to our mind that it is required to be utilized only when we are talking about the laboratory experience, or when we are about to go to physical lab. So that is correct. But along with that, we can use it in our theory class as well, because the concepts which we are studying in the theory class, the same we are trying to perform in the practical classroom. So you can utilize this for introducing the concept. When you are going to talk about yeast or modes of reproduction in yeast in the theory class, at that time also you can use virtual labs, you can use the theory or animation or directly simulation also. And one more very important thing is that when we are going to teach a particular topic, we do diagnostic assessment. We want to know how much children already know about that particular topic, because it's not necessary that that topic is introduced for the very first time in that class.
Right.
So if they have already studied it in the earlier classes, they must have some idea about the content.
Right.
So the self-evaluation questions which we have just utilized for self-evaluation, that can also be utilized for diagnostic assessment by the teacher. And after explaining this and after performing the experiment also, it can be used as formative assessment.
Absolutely. And the best part of this experiment was, I remember once we had to see something under the microscope. So of course the teacher was very scared. She instructed us to handle the microscope really carefully, and she placed something in a tray under the microscope, but we never knew what we are actually seeing and what we need to see. But here we have got the clarity what we need to identify, and we can use the microscope without any fear as much as we want. So yes, that was a wonderful experiment that we performed as simulation through virtual lab. And for this entire journey, for this entire information, and this is a wonderful session, I must thank my expert. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you
For your time and contribution to the session, and a great message for all the teachers out there to incorporate virtual labs in their routine teaching and learning. And this is the end for day 3, but tomorrow again we have a virtual lab session for you, and what we will be bringing for you, it's going to be on mathematics for grade 10 students, and topic will be demonstration of simulation on right circular cone. Well, if you were scared of mathematics and you didn't like it when you were in school, you can learn mathematics here again. And those who are already studying in school and they want to brush up their skills, tomorrow is a session they must participate in. With this, it's a wrap for the session. But let me tell you very quickly what's coming up next. So, here is the program schedule. So we're through with the session on virtual labs. In a short while from now, you can watch our session Ullas at 11 a.m. and at 12 we will bring you a session on teaching learning interventions for inclusive classrooms. Topics are right there in front of you. Rest of the sessions will follow, so please make sure you participate. This is me now taking leave of you, and we'll join you shortly. Namaskar.